If looking and feeling 10 years younger didn't require injectables, expensive creams, or hours at the gym, today's guest has cracked the code to sustainable self-care, no surgery required. And she's ready to share the simple shifts that make a powerful difference, even if you've got a full schedule. Hi, and welcome to the You World Order Showcase podcast, where we feature life, health, transformational coaches, and spiritual entrepreneurs stepping up to be the change they seek in the world. I'm your host, Jill Hart, the Coach's Alchemist, on a mission to help coaches and entrepreneurs amplify their voice, monetize their mission, and get visible, leveraging podcasts and Substack. Today, we are speaking with Mary Beth Newell. Mary Beth is a registered nurse with a master's degree in science and a decades-long passion for skincare, nutrition, fitness, and self-care. She's developed a lifestyle that helps her look and, more importantly, feel at least 10 years younger. And she's done it all without injectables or plastic surgery. Her tips have been so transformational that friends and strangers kept saying, "You should write a book." So she did. Mary Beth is also an accomplished speaker and advocate with national healthcare presentations under her belt and multiple commendations for her community service. Her book is called Anti-Aging and Secrets of Healthy Living to Stop the Clock. Learn how to look younger, feel fantastic, and wow the world. Welcome to the show, Mary Beth. It's great to have you here.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad to be here, Jill.
All right. So in your opinion, what's the most significant thing we as individuals can do to make an impact on how the world is going?
I think it is making sure we're taking care of ourselves so that we can take care of others and of all the things we could possibly do. I think movement is the most important, keeping ourselves moving, whether it's exercise or gardening or standing on one foot, whatever, because if we are healthy and feeling good, then we can help the rest of the community.
Yeah, and happy people are much nicer to be around. It's the grumpy people that are like dragging us all down. And so what sparked you on this journey? How did you get started? When
Well,
did you get started?
I think you mentioned it a little bit. I don't know if people realize, but I'm almost 65 and I have grandchildren that are going to be teenagers. So I don't necessarily look my age. No, it's not anything I set out to do. I was always interested in how the body works and what effects you have on the body. And then I come from a family of four girls. So there's lots, and I had two older sisters. So I was always fascinated by what they were doing beauty wise, but then also exercise. And as a nurse, understanding how the body works. And I think I tried a whole bunch of different things and found things that worked for me. I work full time. I've worked full time my entire life, except for the 6 and 12 weeks I took off when I had my babies, um, and went back to work. And so trying to figure out what can you do that's more holistic and what can you do that fits into a busy lifestyle. And so about, oh, I don't know, 15, 20 years ago, people kept on asking me when they found out my age, what are you doing? And so I would tell them. And over and over again, people said you should write a book. So it took me a while, but I finally did it because I work full time. It was more like a hobby on the weekends or whenever I got the writing bug, that I would write things down. But my whole idea in writing the book was to share knowledge and how ideas on how can you incorporate it into a busy lifestyle. I mean, whether you're a young mother, that has little kids running around, or you're someone who's working and your career takes up a lot of your time, or even if you're retired. I've found a lot of people that are retired and their lives are super busy with fun stuff. It's like, okay, well, I think I sort of want to do that, but I don't really have the time to do it. How can you incorporate it?
So what do you think's the biggest game changer that you've experienced? What's the thing that you think makes the most difference?
Oh, there's a couple things. I talked about movement, but how can you incorporate exercise when your lifestyle is very, very busy? And maybe you sit in front of a computer like I
Mhm.
do for a good part of my day. So how can, and I have to tell you, Jill, strength training has made a significant difference in my bone structure. So I had one of those bone scans done a maybe it was maybe a year or 2 years difference between the two. And they said, "Oh, your bones are great." They're looking at my record. It's like, "Are you really this old?" Because my bones were of a younger woman. They said my bones were that of a 25-year-old. But when I incorporated strength training, guess what happened in the year? And I didn't take any, Fosamax or
Mhm.
medications to strengthen my bones. Just from strength training, my bones got even more dense. Okay. And that's just from strength training. Nothing else changed in my life. So I do think movement is very important. For me, my kids learned um, a long time ago that if I don't get my exercise, I get crabby. And so sometimes my children would say, "Mom, we're good. Why don't you go for a walk?" And that was a nice way to say, "Mom, you're getting crabby. You need to go
Yeah.
walk." And even if you just go for a 15 or 20-minute walk, I love like 45 to 60 minutes, but if you can't get it in, get something and walk fast. And your body, you release the tension, the endorphins are going. You're going to feel really, really good. Now, if there's some reason why you can't leave your house, I mean, maybe you have little kids, you can't leave them as you go out for 30 minutes to go for a walk, then dance with them. Dance around the house, put on some music. If you have little kids, hold them up and dance with them. So there
Yeah,
are a
strength
lot
training.
of ways to get movement into your life. When I know I'm going to have a super busy day, and I said strength training significantly improved my bone structure, but if I know I'm going to have a super busy day and I do my own strength training at home
Mm.
with my little leg weights and dumbbells. But if for some reason I know that my day is going to be super busy and I'm probably not going to get any of that strength training in, when I brush my teeth and I use an electric toothbrush, 2 minutes in the morning, 2 minutes in the evening, guess what I'm doing? I'm doing squats or leg lifts as I'm doing it. So these are some ways to incorporate it. I think the next thing that's important is nutrition. Unfortunately, processed foods are all over the place or so quick to go into a McDonald's or some other place to get something quick to eat. And I'm even tempted by the smells. It smells so good to go to Burger King
Designed
or
that
something.
way.
Um, but I don't really like what they do with their food. There's a lot of sugar that's put into their food that almost makes it addictive to you. So I like to,
I'm
on
not
the
even sure
weekend,
it's really food anymore
oh,
either.
no, no, no. Um, but on the weekends, I like to eat as close to natural as possible. So, and I don't do this every weekend, but if I can, I'll chop up my vegetables and wash my lettuce, and everything's in little containers. So if my week gets really busy, I can throw a salad together in 30 seconds. Okay. And then if you want some protein in there, you can. No, salami's not the best because that's processed, but a couple little pieces are going to be better. Chicken or turkey or whatever you have sitting around, you can throw it in there. And then the other thing that people don't realize, Jill, is a lot of the foods that are marketed as low fat, and they may be low fat, but guess what they're loaded with? Sugar. So it's almost better if you don't make your own dressing. I've started making my own, ranch dressing at home. But if you can't make your own, buy the full fat because there's going to be a lot less sugar in it. And, or even spaghetti sauce. I make my own spaghetti sauce because read the labels. You'd be surprised. Why are they putting sugar in tomato sauce?
Preservative.
Like, yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's
So,
salt,
yeah.
sugar, and fat are the three main preservatives.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
they have a million names for salt anymore, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, what I do is I'll make a pot. Sometimes it's, just a couple quarts. Sometimes it's a lot if I decide to make a lot of spaghetti sauce or something. But then when I'm done, what I do is I love those quart size Ziploc bags. And I put it in there because it's easy. Instead of putting it in a container that takes up room in your freezer, those little Ziploc bags, you can put a whole bunch in there. And the thing I like about Ziploc bags is if I'm home and I have to make dinner and I mean, you're just trying, you would have stopped at McDonald's if you could have. But even if I have to take something out of the freezer, I take scissors and cut that Ziploc. I throw it in a pot with a little bit of water. 15 minutes later, the spaghetti sauce is ready. You can just cook a bunch of noodles as you're getting out of your business clothes or, setting the table or whatever you want to do. So it's still like fast food, but I love making my own stuff. And I've gotten to the point my spaghetti sauce or even chili that I make takes maybe 5 minutes of preparation. If you're going to have meat in it, you have to brown your
Brown
meat.
it.
So that might take an extra 5 or 10 minutes. But once you stick everything in and you just let it sit there, it is so easy. But again, if you're coming home after a day of work or being out and doing something or, with the kids, you might think, I don't have time to make all this stuff. But if you can make it on the weekend and then freeze it, then you have your fast food that's ready when you are.
You want a secret?
Yeah.
And you're talking about freezing stuff. You can freeze mason jars. You
Oh,
have to be very
okay.
careful because they will crack, but you need to leave headspace and you need to make sure that you're putting like room temperature stuff in there to
Okay.
freeze it. But then you're getting away from the plastics because plastics are so bad for
Yeah.
us. And when
Mhm.
you freeze stuff in plastic bags, though, I've done it a million times too because it's convenient and it's easy.
Mhm.
But I do know mason jars are a good solution to that because it's glass and it's
Well,
not going to be transferring stuff into your body. And you just, leave it out on your counter, it'll
yeah.
defrost. And when you come home, it's ready to heat up and you're ready to go. Or stick it in the fridge and let it defrost slowly over a day or
Mhm.
two. Super easy. You can do that with soups too. You make your big pot of soup, stick it in your mason jars and stick it out in your freezer, and then you got instant soup.
Well, and mason jars are what, a dime a dozen or something. So there,
Well,
that's
it's
a nice
super
way
cheap around
to.
here, but but yeah, it's or get old jars. You buy stuff in jars, save your jars, wash them out, run them through the dishwasher, and you know freeze it in that. Just remember to leave space at the top because when things freeze, they expand.
Okay. So that's the trick, the secret.
Yep, that's a secret.
Okay.
And you were talking about weight training. And this is
Mhm.
another thing that I've learned over the years is that your metabolism happens in your muscles. Does not happen in your gut. And the more that you can maintain your muscle mass, the better your metabolism is going to be. So when people are like, "Well, I don't have time to exercise," well, you can eat more if you keep your muscle mass. Otherwise, sorry, but you're just going to gain fat.
Yeah, one thing that people don't realize is muscle does weigh more than fat. So sometimes when if you're only stepping on the scale, you might say, "Oh, I'm not losing any weight," or maybe you're gaining weight. But what I've done for years and years and years is periodically I do my measurements. I do my calf, my thigh, my hips, my tummy, my bust, and my upper arms. And it's amazing how your weight might change. but it's really the muscle tone that makes a difference. So you might gain 2 pounds, but maybe you lose a quarter of an inch or half an inch somewhere because you're more tone. And muscle burns calories longer. So even if you exercise for 30 minutes or 15 minutes, whatever you can get in, your muscles are still burning calories even after you're done with your exercise.
And the lymph system, the lymphatic system, which is our drainage, it's the sewer system of your body. Most people aren't aware of this either. It does not have its own pumping system. You have to move in order to get your lymphatic system to work. And what you talk about walking for an hour, we walk for an hour every day. It's like it's the non-negotiable in my life. And I can just tell when that doesn't happen, I just feel ugh. it, and
I
it's just
I
because it moves
completely
your
yeah, I completely agree. I've had dogs for a long time, so I like
yeah,
standard poodles, a little frou-frou, and they're big, they're
yeah, I
standard.
know.
But they are high energy dogs. And if I do not take my girls out for at least 4 miles, now that can be split up, but they're so smart that, like my one dog, she starts pulling stuff off my desk and chewing up my papers. I'm like, stop it. Okay, I know we have to go for a walk. But it gets me out and it gets them out. And I like to say a tired dog's a good dog. So they need
With
they
you.
need yeah, they need to get out there and smell their smells and see different things and see what's going on the same way we do. But I know what you're saying, Jill. If I wear a fitness tracker, so I try to track everything. But there are times that you're just like, okay, I just don't feel like going out or on I live in Florida, so it gets warm. So if I sleep in on a Saturday and it's 11 o'clock and it's already 86 degrees out there, I'm not going to take the dogs out. But I can tell if I didn't get my exercise because I'm not as relaxed. I have a little more of that stress going on. And yeah, you're right. You just feel kind of blah.
Yeah, it's so wild. We live in Idaho, so we get snow in the winter and really cold temperatures. It gets down under a zero. And we have rules around walking in the winter time because my husband and I have both fallen more times
Oh,
than
mhm.
we care to admit. I'm 65 as well. So, eh, I, and falling is one of those things that you have to be really careful of when you get older because that's how people die. You break a bone and like a hip bone and you just never really recover. Not so much in your 60s, but as we're aging, even if you look young, your body is still aging and you need to hopefully be more intelligent about the decisions you make. So we
Right.
don't walk when it's icy out. That's our one limit. If the road is icy, we have cleat things, but it's just like we walk our dog too. So, dogs pull you and you can end up on your backside
Right.
before you even know what hit you.
Well, I know one time I had two different dogs, but they were both standard poodles.
Mhm.
I was out, I was training for an ultra marathon, and I'm thinking, you think back, like Monday morning quarterback, what was I thinking? It was October, and I lived in Pittsburgh,
Mhm.
Pennsylvania, so it's cool, it's raining. There's
Yeah.
leaves all over the place. The road was a little
Slippery.
bit wet, and I'm in the hills where I live, there were lots of hills. And I'm jogging with each hand, one dog here, one dog here. Well, what I learned is that poodles have super hearing. So my one dog, as I'm running as fast as I can with them and they're keeping up with me, the one ran in front of me because she heard a car. I didn't hear the car. but she knew we're not supposed to be on the road. So she ran over. Well, I tripped over her and crushed a couple teeth,
Mm.
I'm like, oh my God. Yes, but I know I was much more cautious going out after that because it snowed there too. So it's like, okay, if there's any slipperiness, we're not doing this because I had to have some of my teeth replaced.
Yeah, it just can happen so fast. And,
Mhm.
you have to balance exercise with, is it, are you going to do more damage doing it or
Yeah.
less damage doing it? So, keep that in mind. But it's not an excuse to not exercise because there's dancing around your house. It's the greatest thing ever. Listening to great music just elevates your mood. And when you're happy, you actually look younger.
Yeah.
I
You
really do.
glow.
You do glow. You do glow. When do you think is the best time for people to start thinking about maintaining their appearance? Because ultimately, that's what we're talking about.
Well, I think as early as you can, as far as some of the practices that you put into place of getting into a habit of exercising or trying to eat better. No one's perfect. Um, Different skincare routines. Some of the skincare that I use I've been going for facial acupuncture
Mhm.
for probably over 10 years. Now, you could start it younger. And one of I learned about it on some cruise. I signed up for some spa package and thought, oh, I'll go there and have it done and like one and done. It doesn't work that way. Yeah. So I was like, oh, it's just a start. So I had to get back to Pittsburgh and try to find an acupuncturist that does facial rejuvenation. But it has a similar effect to Botox, but it's much better for you because it's actually called Mei Zen, which means beautiful inside and the outside. So your acupuncturists, yeah, they put a whole bunch of needles in your face. And they can use some numbing agents so you don't really feel it. But she'll put one in my tummy or my legs or my arm because she gets to know you and she knows if you're stressed. And so she's putting these needles to open up other energy fields with you, not just for your face. And so what the acupuncture does is it helps to reduce fine lines, it builds up collagen, and it keeps your face natural. Where sometimes the people that go for the injectables and stuff, they almost have this bizarre look that comes about because it's not natural. So it's like I said, I've been doing it for a long time. I find that it helps me rebalance myself as well as to try to keep me looking good.
Yeah.
The other thing I really like is red light therapy, which is becoming popular. I mean, you see all the commercials for the masks you can wear. So I've done panels, panels that open up,
Mhm.
and the scary mask where you look like Hannibal Lecter or something. So I actually prefer the panels. And the reason is you have to be careful if you go for a mask that you definitely want the red light on your neck and your chest because you don't want this to be a before and an after. But the panels you can use on different parts of your body. So, red light therapy not only helping to stimulate collagen. If you have acne, sometimes it can clear up the acne, reduce the fine lines. It also helps with wound healing. So if you have a wound and you don't want a scar to develop, you can use the red light on top of it. And there's some anecdotal research that shows that it may help to reduce the appearance of cellulite. So if you have panels, and you want to put that on your thigh or your butt, it's a lot easier than if you just have a mask that goes on your face. You have to try to squish it in there and figure out how to get it in there. So, and they're both around the same price. But like I said, I've tried both, and I thought I would like the mask better because you can do other things as it's on your face. Now you can't, I found I can't really do like fine motor things. But if I want to do the dishes, I could do the dishes, or if I wanted to dust. But the thing I found is the strap, because it's heavy, the strap wasn't always staying in place. So I thought, okay, I'm going to go back to the panels.
And then you can meditate while you're sitting there with the panels. So
Hmm.
you're doing two things at once that both
Well,
help you.
as far as trying to find time, what I try to do with the panels is I have them next to my bed. And I set my alarm for 15 minutes early. And I like to hit the snooze. But what I do is I'll pull up my panels and put them on my face as I'm doing the snooze to try to multitask that. Now, you don't have to do it every day. Initially, you want to do it more on a daily basis, but once you've established it, you can do it a couple times a week, 2 or 3 times a week. But yeah, that's another way. Instead of just snoozing, it helps. I do something and then I'm sort of waking up. I'm not the person that when the alarm goes off, I jump out of bed. Some people are. That's not me. But it's like, okay, well, if I'm going to try to snooze or lay here for 15 minutes, let me do something that is productive.
I can justify like 15 minutes. It sounds like to me. So,
Absolutely.
um, how are you mostly helping people through your book? Do you have a coaching program? How does all of that look?
Well, I have the book that's available to people. Now, some of the readers have told me that they use a highlighter as they go through it to try to highlight the things that they want to do. I have that. I do some
So then they
coaching.
have yellow shaded pages.
Yeah. Well, it's the Kindle or the paperback. So the paperback, they're using, okay, I want to try this. I want to try this. So there's all these little different topics in it, in the 5 major categories, which is nutrition, exercise, self-care, skincare, and then, beauty, makeup and hair ideas that I give people as well.
So you were starting to talk about coaching. Do you
Oh,
actually?
yes, I do some coaching. So if people are interested, they can reach me through my website, which is www.marybethnewell.com. And I do have some coaching clients that I work with as well.
Awesome. So how would somebody decide if they wanted to be a coaching client for you? Is it like, do you work mainly with older people, younger people, men, women?
Really, not a lot of men, although the men can benefit from it.
Yeah,
Mostly women, and I guess it's anyone who it, it it's not unique to a certain age group.
mm,
It's really, I mean, people in their 20s aren't really thinking about this stuff. It's usually when you get
but they
closer to your
should be.
40s, 40 to 60 is the typical age group that I have. But the younger you can start, the better. Because as you implement these things, it will just slow everything down. I mean, you can
It
certainly
makes a difference.
implement things when you're older, and you will be able to improve aspects of your health. But if you've gone through 60 years of, being out in the sun without sunscreen and all the other stuff, there's only so much you can do to improve versus if you understand the strategies and what you can do in your life. There's what you should do, but what can you do with your lifestyle? So I that like I said, I've worked my entire life. years and years and years of traveling. I mean, leaving on a Monday, getting home on a Thursday or Friday, where you're not even at home, and how, you're busy, you're in meetings. How can you incorporate all these things? Are the tips that I try to give people in the book of how to incorporate the, and no one's ever perfect. There are times in our lives that there are just so many things going on that even if you have a plan, you might not be able to implement it. And I think that's where, Jill, some of the self-care comes in. We can be so hard on ourselves. Or one of the things that I've found, and I still deal with it now, is feeling guilty if you say no. So sometimes women just say yes to things, even if you don't have the time, you don't want to do it because you don't want to feel guilty, you don't want to let somebody down. But one of the things that I've learned that I'm implementing is if I really don't want to do something, I mean, I might want to get together with the girls on Thursday night, but I know that's going to be an entire night, 6 to
Mhm.
10 or 11. And I might not have that much time in my life, but you feel guilty. So in the past, I would have said yes and just gone out and said, been really stressed because I didn't have any me time or other things that I wanted to do. And now what I'll do is think about it, but if it really isn't fitting in with what's best for me,
Mhm.
then I'll say, oh, that sounds fabulous. I'm sorry I can't go. What about getting together on Saturday for coffee? Because then coffees may be an hour, hour and a half versus 4 to 5 hours of your
Mhm.
time. So I try to say what I can do. Now, even if you can't do that on Saturday, oh, I'm so sorry, I can't make it this month. Maybe I can join next month. So what I've found is if you say no, if you can say what you can do, for me, reduce
Mhm.
the guilt factor of having to say no.
Something I would like to see in life is women stop apologizing for saying no. No is a complete sentence. You are
Mhm.
totally within the realm of your personhood to tell people, no, this is not going to work for me. I'm not
Right.
sorry. It's just the way it is. I don't
Right.
have to be sorry about it. And we all do it. I do it too.
Mhm.
It's just like if we could normalize no, then we would help each other be able to stand up for ourselves because we're all as women, it's programmed into us to want to be nurturing and to want to be kind and want to be inclusive, and we want to do everything for everybody, and it's just like, but you can't.
Mhm.
And you need to be able to pick and choose. And hearing no shouldn't mean you're being rejected by somebody. No means their life is already full. They're helping you because they're not putting you in a position where they're going to resent your invitation, because we do
Right.
that too. We'll say yes, but then we'll resent them for inviting us in the first place. It's like, you should have just said no.
I know. And I mean, some people can do it. And I love looking for role models of people who it's like a duck where water runs off their back. There's no guilt. They don't feel anything. It's like, no, I just said no, I can't do it. So trying to model or emulate people who are able to do that. I've done that throughout my life. I've done a lot of public speaking in front of large crowds with my career as a nurse. And I remember the first time I had to do it for like 500 people. Of course, you're in front of the mirror, memorizing or trying to memorize or going through your speech. And then you get up and there's all these people. And of course, the adrenaline's going, your mouth is dry. Um, but what I did is that mentoring or thinking of something else, I pretended this is what I did. I pretended I was Miss America.
Mhm.
And would Miss America freeze Or, what does Miss, she sucks it up and she does what she needs to do. And, I thought, okay, then I need to be the same way because I so admired the poise and confidence and ability to be articulate with the pageant winners and stuff. Even though I wasn't in it, I've watched it on TV, and it's like, then that's what I want to emulate. Now, you might have another mentor in your field that you admire, that you can, watch them and see what they do and try to pretend that you're that person. So sort of like fake it until you make it type of thing.
Yeah, try it on. See how it works for you. And you can always change. If it's not working for you, take somebody else. You're not stuck with
Yeah.
it. It's like changing your shirt. So let's talk about your book, the name of your book, and the thing that you give away on your website.
Sure. My book is called Anti-Aging and Secrets of Healthy Living to Stop the Clock. And I say it is a guide to looking younger, feeling fantastic, and wowing the world. So it doesn't matter how old you are. Um, there are ways to look more youthful or more refreshed that's in there that doesn't involve plastic surgery or Botox or injectables. There's little secrets that you probably haven't even thought of that, you can just do to make your eyes pop or feel better. And then on my website, there is a free mini ebook called Easy Ways to Delay Aging and Feel Better. So those are some other tips that I have for you. And that's complimentary. That's open to anyone.
And people can get your book on your website as well. And there's two choices. You can get it from Amazon or you can get a signed copy from Mary Beth herself.
Right.
So you get to choose. And people can find you at marybethnewell.com, correct?
Yes, I'm also on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. But if you want to go to the source, you can go to the website.
And we'll make sure we put that link in the show notes. Thanks for joining us today, Mary Beth. It's been a great conversation.
You're welcome. It was my pleasure.
To learn more about easy ways to delay aging and live better, be sure to visit Mary Beth's website, marybethnewell.com, and we'll be sure to put those links in the show notes below. Thank you for tuning in with us today. If you have a podcast or you're interested in starting one, be sure to reach out to us at support@heartlifecoach.com. We love to help spiritual entrepreneurs and coaches amplify their voice and monetize their mission and offer a variety of ways to do this leveraging Substack. Join us for our next episode as we share what others are doing to be the change they seek in the world. And remember, change begins with you. You have all the power to change the world. Start today and get visible.